Good afternoon to everybody. Glad to have everybody here with us tonight, and got a really exciting show. Got a special guest with another special guest that'll be popping in a little bit later on Randy. I don't know if he knows who it is yet, but he's a pretty smart feller. He could probably figure it out.
I've done tried to nail down who it was, and nobody's talking.
Well, we got a special guest that's going to be showing up tonight, and one of yours and my really good friends, and it's going to be exciting to have him on here tonight. And Randy, I do appreciate you coming on, being with us, and I've got some questions for you that some stuff that happened this week, and like you to give me some advice on how to get some bees out of this tree that somebody had cut down here last week. And Spanky, I think you said you wasn't feeling too good tonight. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm sick.
Yeah. So everybody pray for Spanky. He's not feeling good, but he decided to come on with us tonight and talk to Randy. And so we appreciate him being here. So
I shot a whole lot of video for Spanky a while back, and I hadn't had time to edit it all, but Spanky made me this clock, and he sent me the plans. He does some 3D printing. He made me a clock, made my dad some stuff. He sent just a giant box of goodies, and me and my dad opened it all on video, and I just hadn't had a chance to get around to editing. But thank you, Spanky, and your mom for all the stuff y'all sent. I appreciate it a lot. That's some cool stuff. I'll get around to it this year.
Now, Spanky, he's so talented, and like Randy, he's give us a lot of stuff, and that whole family is a giving family. They don't ever ask anything from me. They're very special. His mom's Spring, and there's a special place for them in my heart, and I appreciate Spanky being on here tonight with us. So appreciate that, brother. So first thing I want to talk to you about, Randy, is I've got a bee tree that somebody cut down a week ago for firewood right before Christmas. Lee's got a few photos there. He'll pull up for us. The guy cut it right at the right spot. It was right at the top. That's the end of the top of the cone. So most of the bottom cone is still intact in this tree.
Did he drop it or?
Yeah, he dropped it down. It's not a very big cavity, probably about 8, maybe 10 inches. That's the top part of the cavity there.
Yeah.
So a little bit later, I'm going to get your advice on how to remove this hive from this tree, whether it do a cutout. And right there, I've added a top to it just to get through winter. But do it like a cutout, or do I smoke them out? What's the best method of getting these bees out of this tree? So I'll get with you in just a second on that. But I wanted to show those pictures first. That way Randy I'm sure he's already got a game plan in his mind, because as y'all know, he's such a good cutout guy that he really knows his stuff. But I wanted to go in just a little bit of detail about Randy and how we met. And when you get to meet Randy, he's a very special person, because it doesn't matter who it is that comes up and talks to him. He'll just talk to him. He's not one of these that feels like they're way up here. He's right down here. Yeah. He's just right here with the level people. When you come to the Bee Expo, he'll be there. Trust me. He'll try to talk to everybody that he can. There's going to be a lot of people there, but he'll be that way. But we got to meet Randy at the first Hive Life conference. If you'll pull that picture up. And my wife knew that I was such a Randy fan. He was kind of what inspired me to get into beekeeping. I was watching his cutouts, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool, and he's here, and I was nervous, and my wife went up, and I think she bought a cup off of you, or a shirt or something. And she brought Randy over to my booth where I was at, and Randy just talked to me like I was anybody else. And man, I was like, this is just so amazing, and I told Randy, I said, Randy, you got me into beekeeping. And he said, first thing he said to me was, "Sorry."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Sorry." He's like, "Yeah, man, I hate that you're in this path, And but I'm not sorry. I'm excited that he's been there for me, and we've talked several times. If I have a cutout issue, he's there for me. And Randy's dad reminds me so much of my own grandfather. That it's unreal. They could probably almost look alike. I'll be honest with you. So we actually got to make him a hive, and it was special to be able to make one for him because really Randy's dad. This is the hive that Randy's dad needs for him is something. Oops, I'll say I'm gonna try to bring it up here. He's sitting down there. This is the kind of hive for him to be able to use. This is what the horizontal is really good about, is to be able to use. And there you can see him working on it, and he can work on a little bit and sit down.
Yeah.
So it's really ideal for him, and it was great to be able to give him something. It's almost like I gave my own grandfather a hive. It wasn't for Randy. It was like, Randy, it's not for you. It's for your dad. But it was a pleasure to be able to give him a hive.
Yeah, and that was done just out of the goodness of Ricky's heart. And to this day, we get comments. Everybody thinks that somehow I set this up or bought it for him or whatever. I had nothing to do with it. It was from Ricky to my dad. It was just a gift from Ricky, and he was. Well, if you saw the video, he was in tears. He was just so touched by it. But that's his favorite hive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his last video, he said that was his favorite hive. So
yeah.
But anyway, so Randy, we're going to bring you on here, and if you want to talk about that bee tree, go right ahead. But I think cutouts are really important for people that are trying to design hives, because you can really see, what entrance size do these bees want? What location of the tree or in a house? Why do they like that spot? What's drawing these bees to that spot besides a hole? And then how do they build their comb inside that hive? So when I'm building my horizontal hives, I'm really looking at, when I do some cutouts, is what do the bees want? And if you can talk a little bit about that, talk a little bit about how to get those bees out of that tree, I'd appreciate it, sir.
Well, I will start out with that bee tree that you've got there, and I'll say, is there any comb left in it?
Oh yeah, it's got the whole bottom's full of comb.
And is it pretty much the same size all the way through?
It looks that way, Randy. I was going to shoot the flare, and I haven't done that yet.
Is it open on top and bottom where you got it set up there?
It's just open at the top where he had cut it. There's a couple of little holes that they are going in and out, squirrel holes or something like that.
Okay.
So Leah'll bring up this other picture.
Well, I think you've already figured out what you've got to do so far is to let them get through winter in this log. If you cut them out now, they're not going to survive. Either that or you're going to have to combine them with something else. And you can't do anything with the comb, really. When you get that cut open, it's not going to be a lot of frameable comb in there. And by the time you get done cutting on it, everything's going to be full of sawdust and trash, and it's just going to be tough on them. So what I would do is exactly what you're doing. I'd let them ride the winter out in this log, and then come spring, either let them swarm out of the log, and after they swarm, run what's left out. Don't even worry about cutting the comb, because there's not really much in there that's worth the work that it's going to take to get it out. And whatever bees are left, either put a trap cone, go and set your box up there, either put a trap cone on it and trap them out, or cut or drill the bottom of it and run them out with some Be Quick or some honey robber or something like that. Just get them out of that log and put them in a box. And start them out on some fresh foundations. I wouldn't worry about whatever's in that log. There's not going to be much worth saving. You might get a little bit of wax out of it, but it's really for the effort you're going to put into it. You're going to waste your time.
Now, with that top that I've got on there, I can actually take that off and maybe add a 3/4 inch shim and put a deep box. Would that be good? And let them kind of get up there and build some comb, and maybe she'll come up in there.
Is that just a top? I thought that was some kind of a medium setup. Is that just a top?
It's just I threw some 2x4s and made a small chamber to be able to put sugar on top of them just in case they
Okay.
need that area
All
right
right, I
there.
see what it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I can take that off and put a deep up there, and maybe
Yeah.
they'll build some comb air and she'll come up. I don't know.
Yeah, I would. I'd leave them just like they are until early spring when they really start working, and then maybe put a box up there, start working them.
Okay. I know in the state of North Carolina, if anybody doesn't know this, you're really not allowed to have bees in a tree. That way, they can't inspect the comb to see if they have American foul brood. So I don't know. Each state's a little different. If they don't know, so you know,
There is foul brood is such a minor problem
hmm
for us in the South. I've never seen it. I've got several mentors that have never seen it. They've been in bees for 25, 30 years. There's two guys that I know that have seen cases of it. One of them, and this was 5 years ago. He said I hadn't seen a case in 25 years. The only guy that I know that has seen foul brood, and I don't know how recent, but he's a commercial beekeeper and he's all over the United States. So I don't even, that's not even something that's on our radar down here. I don't know anybody that is in the South 24/7 or you know, all year and keeps bees that's ever seen a case of it.
Hmm.
So I don't worry about foul brood. We have shockingly very little problems with nosema, small hive beetles, and varroa. Or small hive beetles are our biggest problem. Varroa is just it's another thing. It's not a huge issue for us right here in our region. But yeah, I think you got it together right there. I would just let them run out the winter in that log and get rid of that log. They
that was
they're already going to be oriented to that spot. So
yeah, that was a big mistake I made. Just so you know, I pulled that trailer in the yard there, and I thought, well, you know, no big deal. And it got warm, and guess what? They oriented to that spot, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And
yeah,
my wife's going to kill me because I got bees right in the middle of the yard. I was like,
yeah,
oh, this ain't going to be good. And uh, we moved them about 10 feet from the location they were at in that trailer, and so they could find it. And I was surprised they found their hive, but they did very well with that. So.
yeah. I've got a huge log out in my yard that I've been meaning to make a log hive out of because it's got a void inside of it that big,
Mm.
and it's 5 or 6 foot tall. Or well, it's laying on its side right now, but it's going to take a front end loader to stand it up. And it's one that I picked up, brought it home. A tree service cut it down, and the homeowner paid me to come move, and it was a waste of my time. I shouldn't have gone and got it. It was just a massive log they had dropped. The whole hive collapsed inside the log. So where it was, I couldn't really do anything with it. We loaded it on a trailer. I brought it home, rolled it off the trailer, and went out there to take the bees out of it. About an hour later, and they were gone. They absconded from the time I dropped it on the ground to the time I was ready to take them out.
Wow.
So now I was just left with a 3,000-pound log in my yard.
I think I took a picture of that. Yeah, right there. Is that the
That's
one?
it. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
They had a big old bobcat, T3000 or something like that barely could get it up on the trailer.
Yeah, I seen you picking the comb out, and it was just like it was all smashed together. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't anything salvageable there, but I got a nice log for a log hive home.
Hey, Amber, come get your cat. Sorry about that, guys.
But most of the time, tree services down here, they're not going to wait around for a beekeeper. So most of them, when they cut a tree down, they're going to exterminate them. They got to get back to work. They don't have time to save bees. They don't really care. It's not their thing. They're losing money for trying to locate somebody.
Right.
And then the time that it takes if somebody does show up to cut a hive out of a log. Hey, babe. Hang on just a second.
Yeah.
You leaving? I hope not. Probably. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Looks like Elizabeth's there with Randy. So,
This is my daughter. This is my daughter. This is my
oh, is
oldest
that your daughter? Okay, my
daughter.
bad. My bad. But I was pretty surprised when I got the call that somebody had some bees that they'd cut down in the middle of winter. When I went and actually touched the log with my foot, I was waiting for some yellow jackets to come out, and the bees that come out of that log were extremely aggressive, and they covered me up pretty quick. I didn't have my suit on. I backed up real slow and finally got away from them before I put my suit on. So you never know what's going to happen in the middle of winter when somebody's cutting down trees, I guess.
Yeah, the last bee tree I got called on was late summer this year, and they had already dropped the tree, cut it up. There wasn't anything left of the log, but bees were all over everything they were working on trying to cut up, and so they finally stopped and called somebody. And 4 or 5 calls later, got me, and I ran out there and found the queen, vacuumed up the bees that were on everything, and they were just fascinated by it. So all the workers were digging honey. Once I showed them what was what, they were digging honey out of everything. And I had the bees. I took off. I was like, I'm gonna leave you to it. Mm-hmm. Clean it up, do it. But they had a skid steer, and they were just cutting stuff up and hauling it in the woods and dumping it in a swampy area.
Right.
That's tree services around here. They're not gonna waste the time for a call. And most of the time when I get calls on trees, it's in somebody's yard. They don't want to cut the tree down. They don't want to do anything. They want you to come out and wave a magic wand and get bees out. And it don't, as you know, it doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. And after you explain their options, they're just like, oh, I'll just exterminate them. Well, whatever you got to do. But if you want me to take them out, we're going to either cut the tree down or we're going to do a trap out. Either way, it's going to cost you money. Mm-hmm. Oh no, I'm looking for a free removal. And I'm like, you're not going to get one out of a tree.
Yeah.
So, good luck, whatever you got to do.
Ken wrote on here, when a tree falls, how often is the comb destroyed versus being salvageable?
Almost every time when it falls, the comb is destroyed. It's so fragile, and if it's like that one that you got, it's a little smaller, mm-hmm. and the combs are not very big. Right. If it lands just right. But most of them have at least, maybe a 8 or 10 inch void in them. And the comb has a little weight to it. So when the tree hits the ground, and it's normally not right at ground level, so it's, 10 feet up at least. Yeah. And when it hits the ground, it just slaps everything together. And the comb is almost never salvageable.
Well, speaking of that, this hive was about 4 feet off the ground, which actually surprised me how low it was to the ground. That's not normal for a bee tree. Usually they're up a whole lot higher. Yeah. And if you'll talk a little bit, Randy, about, why is it important for somebody like me that's designing hives to look at those cutouts, like the entrances, the location where they found that, which way they face, and how's the comb built in there? And I also know that you talked about you've talked several times, and what a lot of people don't understand is bees they're not really made to build comb up. They're really made to build comb down. And I think a lot of beekeepers don't understand that.
Commercial beekeepers especially, because I kind of started out hanging out with commercial beekeepers. That was my brother got me into beekeeping, and he was hanging out with Darren Strauss, Wonderful Bees. It was another company name at the time, and Mr. Roy, that was our mentor to begin with. He's sideliner and just hanging out with people with large colonies. All they've done is, large amounts of colonies. All they've done is just commercial type beekeeping. And I was hanging out with some of the guys out there, and it's a lot of Honduran, so I thought maybe it was a language barrier or something like that. And I was trying to get them to explain to me why they were adding supers and what, how they were doing everything. It's like, why don't you, even brand new, I was like, why don't you under super? Because I had done a couple cutouts, and I knew that bees build down, and they're like, bees like to build up. And I'm like, what? Is this a language barrier thing, or is this, you don't know what the heck you're talking about? I don't know. I don't know what, or am I an idiot here? I don't know what's going on. So I just figured out it's a difference in style. It's a management thing. If you add to the top, they have to build up. You're forcing them to do what you want them to do, right, which makes it easy for them to work the highest, because under supering is a lot more work, and they just don't have time for all that. So as beekeepers, we're managing, or they're having to do what we give them the resources for, or what we make them do. So, in nature, they start at a high point and they build down, and they'll work down through the year, build honey stores, and then in the winter they work back up, and then in the spring and summer they build back down and they work back up, and that's how it goes back and forth. But they always start at a high point and build down. It's rare that they start anywhere else. Sometimes, if you get a bee tree or something, a wall that's built funny, sometimes they'll start at a point in the wall and eventually start building up, but they always want to go down. So, so if you're running Langstroths, then you have the ability to under super. I like that, but if also if you get into a good wall comb, and I say walls because Langstroths are vertical, so are walls. Everything else is horizontal. If you get into a wall comb during the season, during the honey flow, a lot of times the honey is evenly distributed, fairly evenly above and below the brood. So it really is not that big of a deal. But to go vertical, they have to have something to attach to. So if they're going big vertical, and they can go just as big vertical as they can horizontal, but the difference is if they go vertical, they have to have structure to attach to, because there's so much weight in the comb, it'll just rip off. If they, they have to be inside of a column or inside of a wall, something where they can attach at different points down the combs, especially the honeycombs. So like a lot of times if you'll see, we'll do a 3-foot tall hive in a wall, and you grab a brood comb at the bottom and wiggle it, and the whole comb all the way to the top's just flapping loose. It'll be, foot wide and 3 foot tall, 3.5 foot tall, and the whole thing's just loose. But then you get to anything with any honey in it, and it's got attachment points all the way down it, because it's got to carry a load. So the thing with horizontal versus vertical, they can build just as big vertical, but horizontal to me would be easier to manage, and they can go as long as they want to.
Yeah. Tom wrote on here, he says, I've done a dozen trees, and so far 2 had queens. Randy, do you see the same?
I don't do a lot of trees anymore, but when I was doing trees, it was about half and half. And some of it had to do with what time of the year, because a lot of times people don't call until there's a problem, and when they see a swarm, all of a sudden it's a problem. So that queen is already swarmed out. And so you're getting calls after a swarm, or or maybe the hive is getting robbed out. There's a lot of activity when a hive's getting robbed out, and that's usually a queenless issue as well. And so until most of the time when somebody's got bees in a tree, they either don't notice it or they don't care until it becomes a lot of traffic and they've got kids around, or they got guests coming over or something. And now all of a sudden you got to do something about it. Right. So yeah, a lot of times bee trees are, at the time that we're called on, the time we get to them, they are queenless.
And then Randy, in your cutouts, and I know you did a lot of alcohol washes, and I did every cutout that I did this year, which was just 7, which is rare for our area to have that many. But you do a lot of your mite washes also. Do you see that those mite washes are low? Because every cutout I did, man, there's a few of them didn't even have any mites in them. I know they probably did, but always the mites are so low. Why is that? I mean, is it just the swarming management that comes with that?
No, they're not any more swarmy than managed colonies. A lot of people like to say they are, but I don't see that they are. I see that their tendency to swarm is about the same, managed or unmanaged, from what I see anyway. I think it's a lot to do with them being undisturbed. They have less stressors on them. Their temperatures are not fluctuating as high and low as they would in a managed colony sitting out in the sun and the wind and everything. They're usually in a more protected environment. They're usually propolized real well. Seems like colonies with a lot of propolis are healthier. There's a lot of reasons for it, I think. But yeah, I've done double and triple washes on colonies that I didn't find mites in. I'm like, surely I'm missing something. So I'm shaking some more in the cup.
Yep, that's me.
And I'll shake them for a minute, let them sit and go work for 15 minutes, come shake them. So I know I'm killing everything in there, and I know if there's mites on, they're not just hanging on, and they're not hanging on for dear life. I'm giving them time to die out and shaking it again so I can get an accurate count. And so I've done, I don't know, 2 or 3 this year that had 0 mites and multiple washes, and most of them are at 2 and 3 mites in the whole shake.
Yeah. But, and talk a little bit about the entrance size. I mean, I don't know how much that really plays a part, but all of the cutouts I do, I mean, maybe 3 inches. I've seen some really small. I mean, that's usually about the size. Very rarely do I see where they've got plenty of room. I know you've done some open air colonies, but for the most part, that entrance is fairly small. Is that correct?
Yeah, the entrance is almost always small. There's always a gap in siding, or the cable man came and installed something and the cable got pulled out and there's a hole there. It's usually something small, but they can manage with small entrances. They don't have to. I don't think that they have to have that airflow in the spaces that they're in a lot of times, like they have to have in a Langstroth hive that's out in the weather. Down here it gets extremely hot. The sun's beating on the hives. Bees are all out beard and they need that ventilation, and I think a larger opening is necessary sometimes, but it's harder to defend as well. Right. So I think most of the problems in managed colonies has to do with the way they're managed and the way they're kept. It's not that you can really do much about it, because that's what's feasible and that's what works. But when you're looking at, we call them feral colonies. They're all just bees. There's no wild or tame.
Yeah.
all my bees are tame. There's none of that. Feral bees are they're nothing more than unmanaged bees.
Right.
So I think with that comes a lot less stressors on them. You're not going in and breaking up comb, breaking up propolis, and they're having to repair all this stuff. They're not, like I say, especially the big thing for me is the temperature fluctuations are not there, because they're always in a protected environment. Their entrance always faces away from the sun, or it's shaded. If it's not facing away from the sun, it's at least shaded. It's rare that you'll ever find a wild colony, except for on a tree or somewhere where they just didn't have any other option, that the entrance faces south or catches full sun. They just don't like landing on that. So most of them face north or have protection by a tree that's overshading the whole place 24/7, or a chimney or something's blocking it.
Before we bring our special guest on Randy, I got another question for you, because I just can't figure out, why do honeybees seem to want to build their colony, especially in an area where it's kind of cold, but they'll build their colony right up against a chimney. Is there something special about that? Is it creating a heat area for them, or it looks to me like it'd be colder, or they're getting some moisture? They really like around those chimneys. What's up with that?
It's complete protection. It's protected deep. I mean, you get 3 foot of space sometimes, because they'll get in a crack. They'll get between the chimney where the chimney meets the wall, and go behind the chimney. And if you're using a FLIR, you go inside and there's a mantle, and a lot of times there's brick veneer inside. You shoot that brick veneer, and their hot spot is one side or the other on the mantle. Between that and the chimney. It's just protected. There's no temperature fluctuations. There's nothing to bother them. It's just an easy spot to live.
Almost perfect for them then.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well,
yeah, so that's the good thing about Apame and some of the insulated hives, that you just, I mean, it's not, for most people, it's not feasible. It's expensive to insulate something like that. But for those of you that can afford it, go insulated.
Yep. And we're going to have a few insulated hives at the conference this year. That's something we've done a little different. And speaking of the conference, we're going to bring on our special guest. And this gentleman, our second year at the
They said special.
I should have known. It's the
The
special
big
man.
setup and the letdown.
It's the special man.
Yeah. Our
What's happening,
second
Terry?
year at Hive Life Conference, I had Randy on one side, I had Terry on the other side, and I absolutely had a blast with these two guys. Now, last year we didn't get that same setup, but this year at the Bee Expo, we are all together again in the same location. And, you know, I have learned a lot from Terry, especially business wise. But I wear his suit. And let me tell you, folks, I do cutouts like Randy does. And that suit has never let me down. Now, Terry, I won't say your suits nobody ever gets stung through them, but I have never been stung through your suit. And it's really cool. I send everybody to get one of your suits. I just love them. Absolutely love them. And I know Randy had a video. And I can't remember. It's probably about a year ago. He had a video of a gentleman that had a different suit on, and he got lit up. And it was funny because even Randy put his suit on. So Randy may remember that when it's
That
cut
was-
underneath the house.
That was the most aggressive or the most defensive colony I've ever pulled in Mississippi. And Bob Collins was with me, and he had a little 2-layer suit on. I forget whose. Was it Humblebee?
Yeah, I think so.
Terry knows who it was.
I think I remember seeing the video.
But I didn't, he was telling me I got stung. I forget how many times in the face and then the arms and chest, wherever all he got stung. And I was like, didn't really pay attention. I started looking at his suit and I was like, that's a 2-layer suit. He said, yes. Oh, there's why. That I had a guardian.
That's right.
Yeah, we've been with Terry long enough that my wife was getting stuff ready for the conference the other day. She pulled out some suits to dress a mannequin, and she was like, "Super Bee Supply. Are we cheating on Terry?" That was Terry's first brand, was Super Bee Supply way back in the day. So I've still got some of those prototype suits.
Yeah, that was back when I was local and just selling woodenware and stuff. That was before the suits, and so we prototyped them under that name, and we got a good response, and that was very generous, Ricky. But so we went for it, and when we really looked at it, we didn't feel like that was the name we wanted on it. So, but that was what Randy got, because we sent him some of the first stuff we got. we wanted to know if we did something right or not.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the main check.
And you know it's going to be tested, and I mean really tested in every way possible, because Randy's hitting nails, he's moving his arms around, he's getting honey all over his suit, and
throwing equipment on top of him in the bed of the truck.
Yeah,
I still use a Guardian suit to protect my Honda generator when I'm going anywhere. I'll cover it up and pad it with Guardian suits because that's the best protection I got in the truck. Yeah.
I like it because I get from day one, I got such good feedback because he's a super honest guy.
Oh yeah.
We could talk, and I said, "Hey man, is suit working out good for you? How's it going?" And well, I don't wear them that often, and I'm pretty sure it got rained on in the back of my truck yesterday, but I'm sure I'll try it eventually. I'm like, perfect, we'll take it. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, what was that big one you sent me that I ended up giving away?
5X.
Was it a 5X? I thought it was bigger than that.
No, I think it was we have custom made a couple up into the 6 and 7X range.
This was a big. It was the first. I think it was the first big suit y'all made. Terry sent it to me, and it was like I looked like a baby in grown up pajamas or something. But I was like, yeah, man, it's a big suit, but the crotch is too tight. It's too short. The torso is about this tall. You got to fix that.
Yeah, I remember him telling me, most bee suits don't fit me. I doubt you're gonna have one big enough. I was like, we're gonna figure this out. We probably could have got 2 of you in there, but
yeah, I put out a video saying I'd give it away to somebody that was 6'7" or bigger or something like that, and I forget who got it, but he was like 6'9". I was like, you're gonna have to adjust the crotch, but you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
So Terry, you ready to get to the Bee Expo? You got everything ready? Randy, you got your stuff ready to go? Because I'm still behind. I still don't have everything ready. I should be working on stuff right now, but
Lisa's
when it
working on
comes to
some
Bee,
fig jam. Look at it. I requested some fig jam from Lisa. I was kind of joking, but not.
Ooh.
But she's bringing me some fig jam. But yeah, we're behind me is some of the prep. Elizabeth has setups all through the house that she won't let me take down until she's done setting it exactly how she wants it, and then taking pictures and she's got everything diagrammed on graph paper. And
I heard you're gonna have a pretty good booth this year.
well, yeah, we are. So I heard you were too. And
we
Ricky,
just hide behind you.
but my biggest draw is I got Mr. Ed in my booth this year. I'm just
no, shoot,
paying him up on top of a hive and.
Man, y'all separate. Y'all, we can't put
that's
y'all
what I'm saying. Yeah,
square feet. Eat opposite ends of the booth. That's going to be too much.
Let's answer a big question. DC's bees asked, "Do I see bees moving off a black comb?" And no, I don't. They work it just like anything else. It doesn't matter how old it is or how black it is. They'll continue to use it until there's a die off and wax moths eat it.
Huh.
But I've seen black comb, and when was Hurricane Katrina? 20 years ago, almost.
Mm-hmm.
I did a hive this year that was had been there since a year after Hurricane Katrina, I believe, and it had some black comb all through it, and it was the healthiest hive ever. But cutting that stuff out is tough. You're gonna work.
Oh yeah.
But you were about to ask a question, Ricky, and I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate you catching those, and we'll try to get everybody's questions on here tonight. And I just you guys got some new stuff out this year, Randy. You got some new merch. Is that some of the stuff you're wearing tonight, or?
Well, we had our hoodies last year.
We
we have some.
Terry's got so look at that, yeah.
We have some zip up hoodies, and Lisa is in here. Lisa was requesting some ladies' hats, so we finally got some ladies' hats.
There you go.
And we have some new shirt designs, some new men's shirts. Which one do you got on, Terry? Oh yeah. So we redid that. That was our old shirt that we redid with the updated logo. We got the Savage Life shirt with the big queen bee on it that we kicked around forever because I couldn't figure out how to put a queen bee on a man's shirt. You know, I was like, that's just not. It's got to be something manly. So we finally come up with Savage Life, and I was like, yeah. That works.
Yeah, it works good.
But
yeah, I know.
That's a good looking. That the logo of that queen bee is.
Yeah,
I like it. It's, I mean, like there needed to be an update on the standard typical, icon.
Yeah.
Or logo or whatever. A lot of people have amazing logos, but just that image, man, to me it looks like it could carry a lot.
Yeah, we tried for a while to get somebody to draw pen and ink a queen bee. We couldn't find anybody that would do it. We have a local friend that could do it. He just was too busy. And Elizabeth found a queen bee picture on Google and drew a queen like she wanted it, which I loved. It was, I'll probably have it printed and hanging on the wall in here eventually. But she's like, no, I don't like that. So she sent it to Tim up in Illinois. We went to the conference up in Illinois this year and met Tim. His last name's not coming to me, but he's been doing a lot of our graphic stuff lately, and he touched it up and did a fine job on it. So y'all have seen the finished. There it is. So him and Elizabeth going back and forth, and then it's got Dirt Rooster and it's got a tramp stamp at the end of it with our logo.
Well, I've got to say, Randy, that for some reason my family will wear your shirts and they won't wear any of my merchandise, and it's like, what's the deal here? Is Daddy not special? So
they better wear your stuff. They got to represent.
That's right. Well, at least Amber, she just drawed this. If you guys can see it, she just did this a
that's
few
nice.
minutes ago. So
That's nice.
She got her
I'll tell
mama's
you-
talent.
she's starting to get her mama's talent, and it's I'm blessed to have
Wow.
have somebody can do some artwork. So,
What are you bringing new, Terry?
yeah, Terry, come on.
Man, we're going mostly new is going to be a little bit of the merch stuff. We got some patches and stuff like that people have been requesting. We did just introduce recently the short gloves. We've gotten a lot of response. A lot of people loving those. So that's our newest product. It's not brand new, but it'll be the first time a lot of people see it. And man, we hadn't even loaded the trailer yet, but I got faith.
Those Guardian gloves. Guardian gloves are the best gloves. Not saying that because Terry's on here, because you know how honest I am. I'd tell you if they suck.
Yeah, I love those new gloves.
If you're not if you're not suited up, the long gloves, I prefer the long gloves if you're not wearing a suit, because they go past my elbows and they fit and I've got big forearms. And Terry's gloves are some of the only ones that fit me. I don't, anybody else's, I've got to cut them to get them past my forearms. But if you're already wearing a suit, you don't really need the long gloves. The short gloves are perfect. But the best.
I tell you, when you out of normal beekeepers, you would have no reason to think this deep about it, but since it's what I do, but the long gloves are really, we look at that as almost like an insurance policy. So if you buy a jacket or a suit and all your working space is from your elbow down, that's where you got the most risk to snag something. We just want people to have the option to be replacing a glove instead of a full suit. Take your snag on the glove if you know. But everybody's got a different style, a different comfort level. So there's an option to go with short or long, thankfully now. But and they were highly requested. We got tons of requests.
Yeah, if you got skinny arms and you can fit a suit and long gloves, probably the way to go. I don't think I can.
I know Ruth, she got some up at Greg Burns's place. Terry talked her into getting a pair of gloves. I'm like, wait till the conference, we can get a discount. Come on. And she had these gloves on. I'm like, whatever, and give Greg Burns a sale, give Terry a sale. So
we sure do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And also, hey, Spanky. I got to meet Spanky up there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we walked up there, said anybody got stung yet, and then bees come right over and said, hey.
That's right. He walked up and asked if they were hot, and they weren't. We were all standing around. There's probably 30 people watching Greg at his hives and his learning yard, and I looked there. I said, nah, man, everything's going smooth. And about 2 seconds later, we all started getting headbutted. So we turned around and moseyed off. But I think Spanky brought him over to us.
Yeah. B Brats asked if you had any big gloves. Yeah, he's got 2 and 3X. The 2X fit me pretty well. The 3X were actually a little big, so you'd have to be a big boy to fill the 3X out.
We've had quite a few people order 3X and then exchange it for a 2X. That's definitely the big guy glove. I mean,
I've got big hands, and the 2X fit me well.
And it's funny actually, because of that suit that we sent you, that whole early in the beginning when you were saying, the first time you probably I won't fit it, but if you want to send it, and so we made that big suit. That actually made us kind of like the big guy brand. We get reached out all the time. People reach out and say, hey, I heard that, I'm this tall or I weigh this much, and y'all can help me out. And 99% of the time we can. And so that's why we carry the bigger gloves and the bigger suits. And that was a Randy special right there.
I was surprised by the response when we did that video, because I didn't think we had that many big guys watching my channel. But when I did the video talking about a giveaway for that big suit, and you had to be, I don't remember what the requirement. I think I said you had to be over 6'7", and I was going to do a drawing, And I was amazed at how many people responded and I was like, you got to prove it. You can't just tell me. You got to send pictures. You standing in a doorway, you stand with a tape measure. I made them send pictures, and I'm talking about some Frankenstein sending me pictures. I was like, dude, and I guess they're watching me because I'm a big guy. So, but I ain't that big. Those dudes were huge. I was like, yeah.
It's really cool though, to talk to someone and be able to put them in a suit that lets them do something they enjoy that before that they weren't able to. So
yeah,
and that whole segment would have never existed if it wouldn't have been for you getting that big suit and doing a giveaway.
I put Shane in it. He was what 5'5", 150 pounds. Put him in it. It swallowed him.
That's a good thing.
How's Stuntman Pete doing?
Stuntman Pete is doing fine. He had his third heart attack this year or something, but he seems all right. He's raring to go. When we're going to do another job, I'm like, I ain't taking you on no more. I don't want you dying on the job. But then I took him on one this fall.
That's a good question, Randy.
Never have run across Africanized bees. We get it all the time. There's Africanized bees in every state. Well, there's not in Mississippi, Alabama, or Louisiana. And we do cutouts all through all three states. Not so much in Louisiana because they're pretty covered up with guys that can do the job. But I don't know anybody over there that's run into any.
Miss Ruth might disagree with you on the Africanized in Louisiana when she comes to my house.
Killer bee guy, every video, every talk he does, there's bees and there's killer bees in every state. You got to kill them all. So he exterminates everything. I don't think he's even a beekeeper, but he's so loud and forceful with his position that everybody believes it. So I get that comment all the time. There's Africanized bees. You could have been killed. No, I couldn't have been killed. But I've never.
I've watch him. Sometimes he's shaking the hive or he's doing stuff to make them even more angry.
Yeah, so. I see him run across general colonies and they'll exterminate him anyway. But the closest I've come to it was one of my customers in Texas, and I had to go make a trip over there. Was getting Africanized genetics in. Matter of fact, it was the video where I gave away that big suit, I believe. I went over there to deliver some queens, and while I was there, I did the video with that suit. And he's like, "You don't want to be around these bees without a suit on." I said, "We'll see." So I went out there, and we went out there on golf carts and stuff. And sure enough, I didn't want to be out there without a suit on. So, I put one on, but they weren't bad. They were just getting some of the genetics bred into them, and so I brought him a dozen pure Italian queens to requeen everything he had. But they weren't any more aggressive than the ones that I pulled with Bob this fall.
Well, Randy, I got a few more questions here. If you don't mind, I'll ask you some, and then maybe here in about 15, 20 minutes, we'll let some people come in if they want to talk to you just a little bit also. We'll try not to keep you too long. But one of your most famous videos that I think's out there, and this is one that got me really watching you a lot, was the yellow jacket cutout with your dad. Now that I laughed. I mean, you were squatting these yellow jackets off, and they were all over you. And when you finally drug that thing out, it was a monster. So,
it was.
Talk to us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, that was a good high. That was one that I didn't want to destroy it, and I didn't know anything about yellow jackets when we did it. Not being an exterminator, yeah, that's part of it. So that was in one joist space under a mobile home, and then. And both sides and the joist space on both sides of that was about, I don't know, another football at least of southern yellow jackets. Southern yellow jackets are the most aggressive of the, there's German yellow jackets a lot up further north, and those are pretty mild compared to these things. These things attack in number, and they don't give up until you're a good ways away. So we worked on that thing for hours one day just because I had a picture in my mind of what this thing was, and I wanted to save it and hang it in the corner of my office. I didn't want to destroy it, so I didn't want it full of poison and all that kind of, I didn't want to that's why we didn't poison it to begin with. Is I didn't want to destroy the hive. I needed something that I could hang for a trophy, and I ended up giving it away. I offered it to MSU, and Jeff Harris. I called him, said, "Hey, I got this thing. Do you want it?" I sent him pictures and measurements, and he called me back and he says, "Well, I'd like to have it, but our display case has one in it that's getting old, but that one won't fit, and nobody wants to build a new case, so I'm going to turn it down." So I sent it to a collector in Tennessee.
Now you got kind of sick from all those bee stings. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, I sure did. Yeah. I was well. That's why we quit working on it. I was starting to feel funny, and I knew how many stings I could take from honeybees, and I wasn't at that threshold yet. We'd been getting stung for hours, but I didn't know it was a different venom at the time. So they by the time I started feeling funny, I was like, yeah, maybe we ought to back off and come back another day. And man, my body just started. By the time we were home, my whole body's just trembling. I mean, from head to toe, till 5 the next morning, and it was when I finally got to sleep. And Elizabeth kept coming in there. I need to take you to the hospital. No, you ain't taking me to the hospital. Well, take some Benadryl. No, I ain't taking no Benadryl.
I tell you, man, you guys are fascinating to me because I can handle a sting.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's not the end of the world. But I suit up, well, jacket and jeans usually and gloves, but I don't ever go in without protection ever. Right. And I can handle it, but it's just such it ruins the peaceful or the experience of it for me. I don't know.
I had a jacket on, but I think it was an old canvas jacket. I don't think I had a Guardian jacket at that point.
Nope.
If I'm not mistaken.
Terry, come on, man.
I think this was before. I
was late.
Yeah, I think this was before I met Terry, and I had an old canvas suit on, and you get a little sweaty and they stick to you. Anything stings it when it's right there on your skin, it just goes right through it. So I was just getting tagged, and I had blue jeans on because all I had was a jacket, and so they were just ripping me up, and I was just like, these things, they hurt more, but it didn't occur to me that it was a different venom. It was going to affect me differently, but it sure did. Made me sick as a dog.
Put your suit on next time. Yeah. I know a guy.
I know a guy. Now, picks you right up.
Yeah, Randy, you're supposed to be in North Carolina this year. At what's the date on that?
It's in March.
In March.
Yeah, it's in March.
So any of these guys, I'm from North Carolina. Anybody on here from North Carolina, Randy's going to be there. I'll probably end up being there myself. But be a good time to come and see Randy in person if you don't get to go to the Bee Expo. And speaking of that, the first time I went down to the Hive Life conference, there was a young gentleman there, and Randy may know who I'm talking about. And I talk about how special Randy is. This young guy, he talked to me before he talked to Randy, and he told me, he said, Randy saved my life. And that's got to be a weird feeling as a beekeeper or someone that's, on YouTube, for someone to come up and say that you've touched them so much that you saved their life. That's got to have a little bit of a weird feeling, but makes you feel kind of good. You remember this gentleman?
Absolutely. Chicago. Yeah.
Yep.
He's from Chicago.
Yep.
I have some of his honey here somewhere.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think me and you both got a good dose of that year, Ricky, or the second year. It was Randy, and then you, and then me, and then Anura with Pierce, and so people would come in the front door. They'd see Randy, they'd get something autographed, or they'd get a picture, and then it was you, me, and Anura, and it was just all day long stories about meeting Randy. People come over and they were. Just man, it's really cool that you can touch people that way, that many people.
Right.
That was the first time I had ever been around a large group of people that, where I could see how the masses looked at Randy, because I only knew Randy one-on-one.
Yeah.
And it's impressive. I mean, to be able.
He came up to me and he goes, I've only got one problem with your channel. you don't have enough Asians in it. I was like, well, come here. I pulled him in and we did a intro or something. I forget what it.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, he's got a honey company in Chicago, I believe. Is that right?
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's
yeah.
a really cool kid, and you know, for me to get to talk to him before he got to meet Randy, and you know, that's the way I felt the first time I met Randy. Oh, I don't want to say that to him. You know, I might be, you know, I'm embarrassed, but don't be embarrassed. Go up and talk to him. Randy don't mind. You know, come. Hey, if you don't want to talk to Randy, come and talk to me and Terry. We don't get that kind of attention, do we, Terry?
There you go. That's right. We'll be your placeholders.
Yeah.
Until your line dies down, people come kill time with us.
You come practice on me before you go to Mr. Ed.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, y'all gonna have the hallway blocked. People ain't gonna better get by y'all's booth.
Oh
yeah,
no.
and they're right next to the coffee.
We're right up.
Yeah.
We're gonna be seated right there on the corner by yours.
Yeah.
Terry.
Man, I'm gonna have to, you know, I had some suggestions on ways to pick on you tonight, and
go
you
ahead.
can thank me later. But
go ahead.
our friend Brian Pruitt, I believe he's watching. Pruitt
he was on here earlier.
Yeah, he and I were talking earlier, and we were just kind of joking around about picking on you, and we kind of came to the consensus that you're just so authentic. It's hard to pick on you. There's really nothing, you know. I mean, you are who you are, and it's all good. And it's hard to find something. So he was joking around. He said, "Ask him if he would rather be punched in the face, or cradled and rocked by his wife Elizabeth, or something." It was something crazy. I said, "There's probably zero chance that I'm going to say that." And here we are. I just said,
I'll go either way. I go either way.
So that was for you, Brian.
Yeah, Brian Pruitt Homestead. Brian sent me some fire cider. I had the flu a few weeks ago, and man, I was hacking and just couldn't clear my sinuses for anything. I still got a little bit of a cough. I got bronchitis afterwards. But he's like, "Let me send you something." So what is it? I'll just send it to you. Just try it. So I was all night just trying to clear my sinuses. Couldn't get anything to move. He sent me this fire cider. I took a sip of it in the dosage he recommended, and for the first 15 seconds, I was running around looking for a window to jump out of. I didn't. Somebody kill me now.
Man, we don't go without it at our house.
But man, 2 minutes later, my sinuses was cleared up. I was like, "Hey, that stuff worked." So fire cider from Pruitt Homestead. If anybody got a cold or the flu or whatever sinus issues, I'm still using it to get cleared up.
I'll tell you, my brother sprained his ankle about a week and a half ago.
You put some fire cider on it?
That was going to be option 2. But luckily, Brian was coming by, and he brought some arnica salve. And I'd never heard of arnica. I mean, it may be a common thing, but it wasn't something I knew of. But they grow herbs and all, and they make all this stuff themselves, and it's a painkiller that you rub on, like a natural one. And me and Brian are close, like y'all guys, and I was just blunt. I was like, man, I used to work on an ambulance. I've been trauma protocol. So has my brother. Like, we've been through all this. I'm pretty sure that I don't think arnica salve is gonna undo a sprained ankle. Like, it's just happened, and I put it on, or had it put on my brother's ankle, and within like 10-15 minutes he was walking. Now that was not good. I thought I was like, you probably ought to still let that rest. But he's like, I just can't believe I can walk on it. So, but yeah, he's been laid up most of the time since then, letting it heal. But he swears by it, and that man's been through more pain than anybody I know. So they're doing some good stuff down there.
Yeah, we're getting more into the natural stuff. Elizabeth has had a cough for 5 years now, and they have thrown everything in the book at her. And she was working in the nursery at church about a month ago, I guess. I mean, they've done everything from adjust thyroid medicine to put her to sleep and do tests, run a scope down her throat and everything. And somebody in the children's church told her, get some thieves and vaporize some thieves in your house. I never heard of it. And probably within 4 days, her cough was almost gone. This is a 5-year long issue. And so we're vaporizing thieves every other day.
You're going to have to remember that one.
Yeah. So yeah, the natural stuff I'm liking.
You know, we went to Mexico and we got to some hot springs, and Ruth's mom had said that, hey, these hot springs help your joints and stuff. And I'm like, whatever, no big deal. You know, I blew my knee out and it always hurts me. And so we got in the springs and we was playing around, and she said my knee stopped hurting. I'm like, ain't no big deal. You know, that's just, you think that you're getting better, right? And I lie you not, I got out of the hot spring and my knee wasn't hurting. I'm like, I looked over at my wife and I'm like, this is amazing. How does this should not be like this? And it didn't hurt me for about 6 months after that. I don't know if it's the minerals, the sulfur, what it was going into that knee or through the skin, and it definitely helped out a lot. So there's a lot to do with natural stuff.
Yeah.
I just did a ice bath about a week and a half ago for the first time. That'll wake you up, but it's similar, man. My back didn't hurt. My lower back didn't hurt for several days. It's your mental clarity, like it's the cold shock proteins and the heat shock proteins. That's some crazy stuff.
My son's been doing ice baths for several months now.
Yeah, it was recommended to me by some family members that were doing it, and they couldn't stop talking about it. It was every symptom you could think of that they had over, a certain period of time. They were all just disappearing. And I said, "There's some ice in that thing. I'm on the way."
Well, you gentlemen don't mind if we let a few people come in and speak tonight, would you?
Mm-mm.
Come in and ask
Terry, were you working on a new suit design?
Why do you ask?
Did you have something new coming out this year?
Uh-oh.
Or you didn't want to share?
We're gonna wait till we're we're gonna get well prototyped before we talk a whole lot. But how about your honey house? How's that honey house coming along?
I got all the equipment. I just need the house. I got a pole barn with no walls on it.
Yeah, it's been interesting following along with you lately. I know you've been making a lot of changes and doing a lot of things, and I know you probably aren't really in a place where you want to talk a whole lot about it either. I know there's a lot of strategy and decisions to make when anytime you're in business. But I'm excited to see what all the dirt roosters bring in this year.
Me and Terry have been talking business stuff lately.
Yeah, he's been schooling me so I can call Ricky.
I'll take it, buddy. I'll take it. Well, that's the thing about the expo or the Hive Life Conference when it was there is, I was just dabbling my foot into these horizontal hives and listen to you and Randy talk about how to run a business and what's your how much are you going to make on this? Is it worth you going down this avenue? And the night that I went out to eat and I got to hear a lot of that. And I told my wife coming back, it's like, man, if I had missed that, I would have missed a ton. And going to that Hive Life conference, man, it really opened up my world to see a different way of approaching a business and beekeeping and the connections you make there and the people that's there, meeting other vendors. I mean, it's just amazing. This big conference that came and keeps putting on, and me and Terry talked a few minutes before it started. It keeps growing by almost double each year. So where's it going to be at in 5 to 10 years from now? This could be something extremely huge. if
Yeah.
you guys are not going, get a chance to go. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. So
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the go-to event.
I don't know where the end is for beekeeping because it's kind of a niche thing. It's not gardening or homesteading, which everybody can and wants to do. But I don't think we're at the end yet. You know,
right.
a 3,000 beekeeper conference. I think that's the start. It's a brand new conference again, so the word's just getting out what it is and where it is, and a lot of people hadn't heard of it. A lot of people aren't on YouTube. A lot of beekeepers aren't on YouTube, and that's where it's been promoted mostly.
Yeah,
and not all beekeepers are in it for business. Not all beekeepers are. So some people are in it for the environment. They want to have a couple hives and help them. Some people just want their own honey.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more beekeepers out there than what people generally assume.
Yeah.
And this is something that they can get excited about and be a part of, because that really didn't exist before. I mean, if you weren't big into it, there really was, everything was regional, local. You had a couple big shows, but that was mostly commercial guys. But this is something that, if you've been in it for 5 years and you don't ever plan on having more than 2 hives, you come and meet people you love, you come and see the people that you do business with, and you get to, it's a vacation, it's an experience. It's,
I feel like I'm not in it growing. I feel like I'm not in it for a business or as a business. I know I have a business in beekeeping, but there's other things that I can do to make 5-6 times the money. Yep. But I enjoy what I'm doing, and if I didn't enjoy it, I'd be gone. Yeah. So I although I do have beekeeping businesses, but I'm not in it for the money for sure.
Right.
I could go along with that. Yeah. We reinvest so heavy that on a personal level, there's no money to be excited about, really, to be honest with you. I mean, we give it back to the company so that we can hopefully, expand out and grow the community.
And I hate to put this out there, but Terry is an incredibly giving guy.
Yeah.
And nobody ever knows it. And the same thing with us. We give so much stuff away, but I don't want to be the guy like you see on YouTube and Facebook with those videos where they run around and hand people money and then stand back and go, aren't we so great? So you don't ever hear about stuff that Terry does or that we do on the side. And it's just fun to bless somebody.
Right.
And I can tell you, man, and Ricky, you spend, to be honest with you, like my goal in life is to be on the level, when we hung out at night and when we had dinner and I got to know y'all's families and we really, have grown relationships since then. And you guys are, you hear Greg Burns say it all the time, salt of the earth.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, if I can fit in with you guys, I've made it. I'm there.
Welcome on, Dawson.
What's up, Dawson?
Hey.
How's it going,
Dawson? You ready?
I'm doing good. I'm ready. My bag's been packed for 2 weeks. I'm ready to go.
I told Ricky earlier I was going to have to sit on both hands to keep from clapping.
I know, right? I know. Randy, I want to ask you a question real quick. I noticed last year that Frederick Dunn was asking you some questions about whenever you do a cutout. He wants to know direction that the entrance was facing, and he was interested in, which I am too. I like knowing what the bees are doing in the wild, because that tells me what they want, and that tells me what I need to do for my bees. And I noticed that someone like Frederick was asking you about those kind of specifics.
Yeah. Well, he already knew. He was just trying to make me feel good.
Well, I think we all kind of do that, right?
Yeah. He was contacting me, wanting to know different things, like how far they would build to the bottom of a surface, and and interest sizes and things like that. And he was hitting up me
Right.
and Jeff. So it wasn't just, anybody that was doing cutouts. He wanted to know what they were seeing.
Right.
Now, if anybody ain't seen that video with Randy and Frederick and Mr. Ed, that is a hilarious video when they're all on stage and Mr. Ed the whole time was like a little boy, like, Mr. Frederick, can I say something? And then Randy be like, yeah, you can say something,
I still haven't seen it. I don't even know what we said because it was all off the cuff. I don't. It was none of it was scripted.
Yeah, it's a great video. I mean, I think Mr. Ed dropped that video. If you want to go to his channel and check it out, but that was a great video. I wish I got to see it live. It definitely was probably better live. So
yeah,
we were having a better time out there.
Yeah.
Dawson, were you in the room?
No, I was out in the expo with I was trying to help sell some horizontal hives.
Sell some equipment,
Yeah. Dawson was with me last year, and we really didn't get to do much of going to see anybody speak. I mean, the volume there, and Randy knows this, and Terry, the volume there was so great, even when speakers were speaking, that we were still busy. So we didn't have much time to do anything. So
yeah, that video I just put out, kind of showing a little bit of it. That was all those shots were taken during talking sessions where people were still in there shopping. You'd think everybody'd be in a session because I think there was 3 going on at a time, maybe been 2, I don't know, but still a lot of people in there getting deals.
Yeah,
I tell you that Thursday evening rush is something to see.
It was, man.
Yeah. It amazes me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how many more people are going to be there this year. But it just amazes me how many people that drew from all over the place. I mean, Ricky, Randy, we were talking to people from all over the world, and they had come to that conference just to get to be with other beekeepers. I thought that was awesome. I love being in this community.
Yeah.
And even Richard Noel that was there, I mean, he come up and talked to me for a long time, and again, I'm a nobody, and we had a great conversation, and he's overseas. Just, man, it was a blast. There's a lot of guys like that there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Richard was neat. They do the whole kissing on the cheek French thing. he came up and when he came up and met me and Elizabeth, he said, "I have to kiss you," and I'm like, he was talking to Elizabeth, and I was like, "Hold up. What's up now?" I don't know what's going on here. She's like, he said, "Yeah, I have to kiss you," and he, does the cheek thing, and I was like, "All right, man, you play with your life." He was a fun guy there. I didn't get to spend any time with him outside the conference, so hopefully this year we'll get to hang out a little bit.
Right.
I'm gonna be throwing stuff at the back of your head most of the time.
Yeah, that's right.
Randy, you need a bodyguard. Randy. You let me know.
I got Mr. Ed over there.
I got you, brother.
Mr. Ed.
I'm gonna jump off here. It's good talking to y'all. I'll talk to you later.
See you later.
See you next week.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Randy.
How you doing, bud?
All right. Hey, Rick.
What's going on, Charlie?
Oh, not much. Not much. I just got off of another board meeting of beekeeping stuff. Hey,
B-O-R-E-D?
What's that? Yeah. Anyway, but I'm excited. I'll be out there. I'll be coming out, Ricky. I'll be out there probably Tuesday evening.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of that, before you get going, Charlie, we're going to be doing a dinner Tuesday. Let's see, Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night. Anybody that's there wants to meet us at the Mexican restaurant. Don't have the name of it up there, but
I don't know. I know that Lee and me are staying in the same.
Come here and say it. We'll have the wife. Cascazuelas or something like that. She's saying some Spanish word. But we're going to do a drawing tonight for a free dinner. So Lee's going to get us. Oh, here she comes. She's going to say this word for us. Come over.
Lee's got a banner on it.
Yeah, Lee put it on the screen.
My hair is messy.
Come here. Tell them.
Looks like
Hey, Rube.
Las cazuelas.
There you go. Randy knows it.
Cazuelas.
Las cazuelas. Las cazuelas.
Sí, habla mejor que Brian.
Yeah. Tell Brian to speak like that, she says.
Sí.
Brian from Castle Highs gives her a hard time. He says, something about Taco Bell. What is it?
Well, he thinks that Taco Bell is
Mexican food. Yeah.
So you're talking about the old commercial, Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll just do this drawing real quick. We'll let Charlie go on and talk a little bit here. You got that ready, Lee, man? Yeah. Anybody who puts in dinner, I'm going to pay for somebody's dinner on that Wednesday night if you guys can be there. So if you want to put your name in, go ahead and do so. Who knows? I might talk Randy or Terry to come out there with us too. So you
can count me in. I'll be there.
Terry said he'll be there. Food. I'm like Terry. If you serve me some food, I'll be there.
Yeah, you had me at Las Casuelo.
Yeah.
What's going on with you, Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie.
Not much. I've been right now, as of like a couple of days ago, I have, since the first of the year, I've sold just a little over 1,100 pounds of honey, which is
that's half a tote.
Something that I went for. It happened, type of thing, which for me is a good amount of product, and it's here right at the home place. Not going to any fairs or anything like that. And all the bees are seem to be in good shape. Everybody's surviving the winter, and they're flying when it's 50 degrees out, and I can at least walk the line and see everybody's up and running.
Yeah.
And how's your dad doing, Ricky? Or Randy?
Randy. Yeah.
He's up and down.
Okay.
It's hard to say one day to the next. One day he seems okay. He still can't walk. He still has trouble getting out of a chair into a wheelchair, that kind of thing. But
yeah,
he's getting to where he's confused about which way his apiary
not
is from.
Quite clear-minded or whatever.
Yeah. Some days he's cleared. Some days he's struggling. So
yeah. Now I always enjoyed him at the last couple conferences that we were at, and talking to him and everything like that, and all that. So, but now as far as the bees, everything is looking good. And I'm going to increase my honey production hives by a couple more to make sure I have enough to, have enough honey coming in to go from one season to the next, kind of overlap, so I don't run out. That kind of thing. So, but looking really forward for Nobby. What's that, Terry?
Congratulations on having such a strong season.
Yeah, I've been doing some single brood chamber management and kind of tweaking it. That works for me. And a lot of people say it's a lot of work. I said, well, I mean, when you can kind of double your honey production in a small amount of hives, it's worth the money, I think, or worth the effort to do all that. My biggest thing is I like to find a hive with really, I know Joey there, he's got one model, the B1 model. I'm looking at maybe one kind of like the Mike Berry has. That's the B3, but that fellow that makes those doesn't seem to come to the shows. Kind of like to kick the tires on that kind of stuff before you buy, but maybe somebody else will be there this year. Who knows? When it comes to making that kind of thing, help me do a lot of lifting and that kind of thing. Save my back. Try to do as much things with mechanization as possible. that's where I'm at with what I'm doing, you know. So, and then Ricky, I got a beekeeper up here in Westchester, PA. A lady, she ordered a hive from you,
Okay.
and I said you had told her to come to Nobby, and I said, well, where she's at, I said, I think she's coming to your house to pick it up. Her and her son or somebody.
Okay. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Name's Diane.
Yep.
And all. So she was talking about you. I said, yeah, I know Ricky. He's a friend of mine.
Yep. Okay.
I said, you're getting a good product there.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, she was going to come down and get that hive, and then I think she got sick or something like that and couldn't show up. So we ended up just shipping that hive up to her. It's a little easier on us if we don't have to ship stuff because those hives are so big, and it's a little easier on her wallet if we don't do that also. So I try to help out when I can, and we're headed all over the country, so a lot of times we can kind of drop off hives as we're heading out.
He brought mine across 2 states without even blinking. I can attest to that.
Yeah, well, it's like when Jason Bohemia Bees had that barbecue. What was it? It's been last year, was it?
Yep.
He had it, or year before?
Yeah.
I guess it was last summer.
Yeah.
I think. And what was exciting or it's surprising is Greg Burns drove all that way from Ohio over there, which is about
doubt.
At least 8 hours.
Yep.
And all that. So we got to have, Brian from Castle Hives and Greg and you and me and several other folks at Jason's house. It was a fun time.
I got to be there virtually for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Randy was there virtually for a little while. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and then also Bruce. I think he called Bruce up too.
Yeah.
Bruce's Bees.
Yeah, and I think he called up Jose also. I think they talked for a little bit while we was there also. So
yeah, and might have been.
Yeah, I think that just goes back to the conference, how the Hive Life conference that year had brought so many beekeepers together. And we got to meet each other and had a great time, and then made that bond where we're all getting together. And that's the great thing about this conference. A lot of YouTubers getting together, getting to see each other and enjoy.
Yeah, I tell a lot of my I have my Friday night live show, and I tell people, so I know beekeepers from the East Coast to the West Coast to Canada, and then it's. Nobby has become that gathering place of the YouTube beekeepers convention that all come together to meet everybody because we know each other on video or these computers, but it's so much nicer to be able to, like you say, get together, go out to dinner together, and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, there's another happy recipient.
Ricky, you drove to Florida to deliver Zelma's hive?
I sure did, and I was just typing in. We had a great time down there with her, and she actually got almost one of our first hives. I think we actually sold off our website. So she's actually a little bit more special than some of the others because she actually ordered right off our website. It's like one of the first ones. So
wow,
Carmen's a great lady. So yeah, I think actually I shot a video of that hive and my back was hurt during that time. So let's go ahead and spin for that dinner real quick, Lee.
He's circling the button.
Yeah, he's circling there for a while.
I finished it. You can show it.
Hey, Joseph.
Hey,
it's rigged. It's rigged.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
Oh man!
So he said he was going to come up. Yeah. So Ruth's going to have some of her artwork there for sale also. You guys, if
cool.
Yeah, if you can see.
Nice.
I got it upside down. Look at that. Yeah. So if you want some of her small artwork, she's going to be having some of that there. So good job, baby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I get royalties off that. I hope.
Doubtful.
I'll get the evil.
Not looking like it.
Yeah.
Man, I look forward to eating dinner with you, Joseph. Mr.
Yeah,
Ross.
absolutely.
That's
Joe,
good.
what day are you going
I'll
up?
be there. Me?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, let me write that.
You setting up on Wednesday, Randy? You're going to wait until Thursday morning?
No, we're heading up Tuesday. We'll be there Tuesday afternoon and set up Wednesday.
Okay.
We're going to caravan up with Jeff Brown and his wife, and Lee might join us.
Okay.
We're all kind of traveling the same path, so Lee's coming up early to help you, of course.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got the same plan. We're gonna head up on the 2nd so we can set up early on the
Well, you know, I started to set up early, but you know, last year when we tried to set up early, I mean, we was in the building, but a lot of people didn't get in the building, right? And it was like almost an hour and a half before people actually got to start coming in. And I told my wife, I said, "Hey, we'll just show up at 12 o'clock. That way, the rush is through there." And you know, we can just kind of pull in and start setting up, you know. So
yeah, we had to be in early last year because of where we were. We had to go all the way across the conference center to set up or to unload and get our truck and trailer out of the way so other people could come in. And of course, we were the last ones to get out of there too, because we had to wait on everybody else to come load up before we could. So this year we're on the backside, so I think there's going to be room for everybody to come in this time. They say you can get 18 with us.
I think
Randy,
that
that place is big enough that everybody can come in at one time.
I like that.
Place is huge.
That'd be nice.
I think there's like 4 doors for everybody to, you know, all your product people to bring stuff in at one time.
And I don't know how many docks there are. There's a lot. I mean, they put big rodeo shows in there and everything.
Yeah, I think that's
big rodeo conferences.
Every time I look at bee conferences in general, you see, you know, a big one is 400 or 500 people, and then this one's, you know, closing in on 3,000 paying attendees, not including the vendors and stuff. And I keep thinking, man, I don't know where the cap is for a beekeeper conference. But then you see other conferences, homesteader conferences with 50,000 people. You're like, hey, you know, maybe there's more beekeepers than I know.
I don't think it's I don't think it's so much about the niche. I think it's the recipe. I mean, I think it's just the right atmosphere. It's the right vendors. It's the right people that support it, that come and buy tickets and support the businesses and support Cayman. And, you know, I mean, I was telling Ricky before we went live tonight, it's become my favorite trip of the year. I mean, that's what I look forward to it all year long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody there's got stories about bees. It's fun just to listen to what they got to say.
Yep.
And especially, you know, with y'all having the YouTube channels and that community, and for me, it's more behind the scenes, you know, your private messages, emails, and phone calls and stuff, but people you interact with all year long. Like, you know, I follow, you know, a lot of the YouTubers, and you see Mr. Koopman, you know, he's Russell Koopman. He's on it. He's everywhere, and you get a chance to shake his hand. You know, I mean, to me, he's just as much a celebrity as the YouTubers. You know, that's he's like an integral part of the community. So it's such a good outlet to get up, to just be able to look people in the eyes and say, you know, I enjoyed talking to you.
Don Bearden's like that.
Don Bearden, yeah.
He's when I think of YouTube beekeepers, he don't have a channel, but he falls into that category for me.
Absolutely.
I think that
he's on everybody's channel.
Yeah.
I think that Cayman tapped into with YouTube in general as the glue that holds all of us together.
Yep.
That there were some other companies that were there this past January that they got their eyes opened up and like, my goodness, where did these people come from? You know, because they were used to dealing with the commercial guy.
Mhm.
And there's only, like you say, let's say 100 commercial guys might show up at a meeting,
Yeah.
and that was it. And now Cayman has opened up the eyes of all these different conference outfits and saying, hey, there is this huge untapped resource of YouTube beekeepers, backyard, sideliner, maybe a few commercial that do it on YouTube. And it's bigger than what you all think that is. And then YouTube makes us all accessible from around the world, if not, just in the country, but also around the world.
Mhm.
And I think that's what this conference is so much different. And the fact that the speakers are prominent YouTube creators, that they have their notoriety amongst themselves, and then other smaller YouTube beekeepers that are maybe they don't have their own show or own videos that much, but they want to meet everybody, and then it's just snowballed to that point where everybody wants to meet everybody because we all feel like we're friends. Maybe not, we don't get to see each other, originally, but I mean only through video, but we've come to that point, and it's just like with me. I mean, I met Randy 2 years ago, and then his dad was there, and I didn't think I'd ever get to meet his dad or Randy, or anything like that. But here we had a common gathering point, and we were able to do all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Just like Brian here. Brian's a perfect example. Brian told everybody to come up and tap him on his shoulder and say hi. And I did. And after that, with Brian's help, along with, I asked different other creators, what kind of cameras did you use? And what type of editing software did you use? And Brian's telling me the camera stuff. And then I finally figured out that I'm using Filmora, editing software, which was easy enough for me to grasp. And it's took off from then.
Mm.
If you ever want to build a YouTube studio, just get with Lee.
Yeah.
Well,
studio.
that's another thing. Lee was my administrator. He helped me get my live show started, and all that.
Okay.
He's in the cockpit
There's Lee
right
over
now.
at NASA. He's over at NASA.
He helped me get my live stream started. Him and Bob with Bob Walker's Bee Ranch. I happened to, Brian was on their channel after the first Hive Life conference out of Tennessee. And then Lee asked me, do you want to come on? I'm like, yeah, I'll come on. And I didn't even know how to do that, and got on. And then from that point on, it's like, I'm sort of a regular out on the YouTube. And then I asked him, how do you get your numbers up to get your YouTube to get, monetized? And you got to go live to do all that, to get those numbers up. And it's just from January, New Year's Eve, 6 hours long for my first live show that we did. And that was because I did that because there's people all the way in Colorado that was, 2 hours behind us, 3 hours behind us from the East Coast. That's how that came around.
I've heard about that 6 hour live. I think that's a record still, isn't it?
No, I think Bob went for 2 or 3 more minutes longer than mine, something like that. And all. So anyway, that's my story. It's the main thing about all this beekeeping and the YouTube and all that stuff. It all boils down to one thing. I like the friendship and the camaraderie that we have amongst all of ourselves on this screen and all the folks here on the right-hand side of the chat bar, because I feel like we're all friends and everything, especially when we get to meet each other at Nobby and everything. So that's like Terry there. I bought one of my, it was the first one at Hive Life in Tennessee. I bought a suit from him. He was right there. Like you say, all three, we were right together on that when you walked into the main door there and all that stuff.
I sure do appreciate the support. And I remember you too.
Yeah. I had to try on different sizes and like, okay, this is what I want. And then when he went over there to the computer and typed it all in and everything.
That was my first time as a business being able to be in front of the customer, and so that whole weekend to me was so memorable.
Yeah, because I asked you about it. I hope you did well that day, and he said, "Man, we couldn't hardly keep up. You had like 5 or 6 people there constantly putting information in the computer for orders and stuff like that. So that's great for you as a business, but like you say, you got to meet the people that you're actually helping out, supplying supplies to.
Yeah, it's man, I say it all the time, the community. I mean, I think we all do. It's just, I'm man, I thank my lucky stars every day that I stumbled upon beekeeping. You know, I was almost 40 before I found that career you get passionate about, you know?
Yeah, and it's like with me, it was selling that amount of honey this year. I mean, when I first started, I was like, who eats honey? You know, and I was going to sell bees more so than honey. You know, now I'm restructuring my business, you might sideline business, to where I'm adding more to make more honey and sell less nukes, or not less nukes, but not have as many hives dedicated for nukes and stuff. It's a little less stressful dealing with people that way.
Yeah.
You know, Brian there, Castle Hives, they've got a new product out, and you know, it's something kind of exciting. Brian, you want to talk about that just a little bit?
What do I have coming up?
Well, he's going into the whiskey business.
I thought you and Jason did the dolls together.
Yeah, let me. Man, you're putting me right on the spot. Let me.
Frederick Dunn, look at him. He's dragging stuff out.
I know I have a.
When he's just supposed to reach over to the shelf and pick it up.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Oh, Dirt Rooster, you always draw a crowd, don't you? You got the screen filled up.
I draw flies, man.
Let me see here. Oh, I don't have any with both the stickers on them. We actually have a couple. So last year we had the dials. They were just a single base. And here, let me grab one of them. Last year we had these. It was just the single base with, you know, the top on it.
Yeah.
Well, we changed it up, and now we have a double. So, you know, you have all the same markings. You know, it's got, and we actually have new stickers. So you've got, like, if it's the mated queen, you know, if there's swarm cells, if there's, you know, no queen, no cells, if you have a virgin, or if you have a super seeger. We have other stickers that go on the other side that have all of the different queen colors with the numbers, so that way you'll know what year queen you have. And then we also have on these, there's going to be a sticker in the middle, so you'll have, you know, you can mark your next inspection time, your next treatment, or if you're feeding, you can mark dates on it. And then we also have a mating dial. So if you're grafting, or if you have like queen castles, things like that set up, you can mark it according to the date, and then you'll know the timing when not to touch that specific, you know, colony. So we've got a couple items. Jason, in fact, sent me. Let me grab the picture.
You have me sold with the pictures on there, because it's like a book. I'm not going to read it unless it's got some pictures in it.
Yeah. Jason sent me this earlier where he's sitting at the table just prepping stuff. You know, I literally have been for, oh my gosh, probably well over 2 months, just running my printers behind me nonstop just to get, you know, inventory up. I think that, like, what we had last year with the singles, I think was a start. But these doubles and all of the different functions with them, we also have a clear sticker also that you can use. So, you know, if you use your own symbols, or if you have a certain specific marking system unique to your apiary, you could mark those symbols on a blank sticker, you know, so that you're not really altering like your marking system. So, and instead of using bricks, things like that, you know, people write on the top of their covers and all that, you have these. So, but yeah, I can't wait to see those. We're going to enter those into the inventors competition there. You know, it'll be in the honey show. I'm curious. I mean, you know, we're moving forward in a good direction with the Queen Right dial. We're hoping to get injection molding done in 2024. So that's the only thing. Like we wanted to like really contact some of the vendors, like the Better Bees and all those different companies. But the problem is with my setup back there, I can't print the volume. Like if we would contact, say, Better Bee, and they say, yeah, that's great, we'll take 1,000 of those. I'm going to sit for 3 months.
Yep.
So versus if we have everything all priced and quotes to get the injection molding, we just need to get the funds. So that's where we're at now. So that's why we're hoping to go into NABI and secure some of those funds. And that way, you know, we can start that injection molding process. And once we get the molds done, like they guaranteed, I think it's some crazy amount. Like the molds, they can run through like it's a couple 100,000 pieces that they can do. And we're thinking about it like if we sell a couple 100,000 of these, you know, I'll be driving around like Dirt Rooster, you know. But
what a broke windshield.
That's from the dials. When when I hit my brakes, they hit the window. Yeah. But no, everything is set, and like if things fall in place like we would want them to, you know, we could literally send some emails, and within like a 30-day period, we could have a couple thousand of these things. So 2024, I'm hoping will be a good year for that. But yeah, I'm excited about those. I mean, we've had a couple orders already. People bought, you know, some of the dials already, so they've been reaching out to Jason, and it's exciting. You know, it's exciting. So
well, that's just the thing about again, goes back to these conferences is you can come up with an ideal, and the next thing you know, you're selling your ideal at the conference, right?
Yeah.
So you're just a backyard beekeeper. I'm a hillbilly in the mountains of North Carolina, and here I'm selling beehives, right? So
yeah.
You can be a
There's a few people asking which way we're going up. We're taking 59 up through Meridian and Birmingham.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to give you a call, Brian, and ask you about that process. I haven't. I was involved with a company. I was young, but about 25 years ago, and we did some injection.
Oh, okay.
And that was quite an experience, but I'm sure that industry's come a long way.
It's a process. It's a
Yes,
process.
it is.
Yeah. No, Jason ended up through one of his contacts. This person had a company and everything all lined up that does the work for them. So that kind of saved a little bit of time from having to go around and hunt and search for somebody that's reliable. So
Learning curves are expensive.
Yeah. So us having that contact saved a little bit. It's just we literally, like, they have all the designs, they have all the specs, everything. All we have to do is send a check. So we're like right there. And we were sitting and thinking, do we try and like push the boundaries and get it done before the expo? And we were like, there's no sense on just trying to crunch and do all that right now, because this was into like November, and we were sitting there thinking, like, can we get it done? And it's just we both kind of decided, look, let's just go into the expo with still me printing them, and you know, at least we can talk to like the different vendors that are going to be there, and our display is going to be awesome. I mean, Jason came up with this awesome idea for this display. It's going to look exactly like an apiary, so that way you can walk through and see the things on the hives, you know, and different hive setups too, apimays, nukes, you know, We're going to have everything all set up. So, and you will see it from afar. Trust me. He's got something that I'm not going to spill the beans, but he's got something that you'll be able to see from a little ways. But we're hoping then to get a couple of the vendors that are going to be there and just bring over, representative and just go through a demo. And at least if we can start that process and build those relationships with the different vendors, then maybe in the future we can get some purchase orders. So, yeah, I'm hoping that the expo ends on a positive note, at least for the Queen Right dial. I am. So, and I, like if I open up, ending of the year or whatever, when you get like the catalogs in the mail, if I open up a catalog that I get mailed to me and I see one of those things in there, I'm probably going to frame that thing and put it on the wall.
They do become your babies when you create something. Yeah.
Look at it. Can I buy some stock? Ricky, oh, you're funny. No, I'm excited over that. Yeah, it's awesome. So, yeah, Ricky, you're putting me right on the spot, and I got to have the product right here handy.
Always working you, Brian. Always.
Yeah.
We're just talking about your Taco Bell comments you like to make to Ruth. So
I'm not saying anything about that establishment at the expo.
You talking about the authentic Mexican fast food?
Yeah, that yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Terry, you're gonna get me in trouble. I'm gonna be walking down there and I'm gonna catch like a burrito in the side of the head.
Yeah. I did send Lee a picture of your observation hive there, Brian. So if he wanted to, he could show it, but if he don't, no big deal. So we'll see.
Oh man, I'm excited for that. And the one that will fit on the nuke box, I've already spoken to the gentleman that runs the market that I go to. And he told me, he said, as long as there's no bees going to be getting out, just for the liability of it, he said, if everything's contained, he said, bring it. So I'm excited for next year, because when I do the markets next year, that's part of my market setup is I'm going to bring that observation hive. Look at him. Lee, you do realize I'm going to see you in a couple days, buddy. Yeah, that's going to be part of my setup, is bringing that observation hive, and that'll draw in everybody. People go into a market and they see an observation hive set up. So I'm just going to have to produce honey to sell to the people.
Yeah.
So,
well, your hives look pretty strong this year from your video earlier today.
Yeah, they're doing good. So I'm hoping, 2024, the challenge for me is going to be switching over to the single brood. That's going to be my, the direction that I want to go. I've watched so many darn videos, and I've been looking through on the internet, and I have a plan in my head. It's just, will it happen, according to how I want it? And I know there will be road bumps. I know there's going to be a learning curve when I switch over to that type of a system, but it'll just be timing. Once I get all the timing of everything down, I think that'll be the biggest learning curve, is learning when I have to make certain moves. So, but once I get that figured out, I think it'll be okay. So you guys hear the pup going nuts downstairs. He's upset because Randy hasn't sent me no memes today.
Oh, is that what it is? Randy, come on, man.
I've been busy, man. I've been running around getting my trailer. I bought a new enclosed trailer for this trip. I've been running around getting the brake controller installed and getting paying for taxes, and the tag on it was $600. I was like, oh. Getting rings for the E-clip, for the E-track in it and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
How was the honey down your way this year, Randy? Did you guys get a lot of honey?
No, it was a light, pitiful flow. It was bad enough if you were buying bulk, you had a hard time finding it. Yeah. Tough year.
Ricky and Randy, I got my new trademark finished.
Oh yeah. What
You
is
want
it?
to see it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see it.
Put it up. Well, my camera's not working good.
It's
Oh,
blanking out everything but your
There.
face. I
Oh,
caught
is
a
that the
glimpse
Star,
of it.
Star of David with the angel on it?
there it is. Yeah.
There you go.
Star of Bethlehem with the Queen.
Yep,
Oh,
I love
wow.
that, dude.
That's awesome.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Getting there.
That's nice. Who designed it?
I did.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
That's some good design work.
That's very
Yeah,
good.
that's cool. I like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Took me a little while. I kept tweaking it like yours.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be my on all my labels and everything.
Yeah, I think we've made some change to our logo almost every year. Some little tweak that Elizabeth will say, we need some more shading here. We need to put a line here or whatever. So it's changed almost
Right.
every year. So some of the older hats are classics, collectibles. They still have the original logo on. Yeah. Kind of like Super Bee Supply.
That's right. That's right. We made one big change and just stayed there.
Yeah. Just locked it in.
That's it.
Hey, did you guys see how close Churchill Downs is to you know Churchill Downs?
Kentucky Derby.
It's got to be a 5 or 10 minute drive away from the convention center.
Yep.
It's that close.
Yeah.
They got any bee races on the track?
I mean, we could probably line that up.
You could rig a race. You could rig a race with some stings.
They got a statue out front. What is it, that Barbaro? I want to see Randy climb up on that statue so I can get a picture of it.
Yeah, we ain't fancy enough to go to Churchill Downs.
Climb up on that horse.
I got on a Dirt Rooster shirt. I feel pretty fancy.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to church or something.
Hey Brian, this past summer, the Churchill Downs did some lot of racing, weekend racings, Friday and Saturday, with just local horses and stuff like that. And had a band there and everything. It was a pretty neat little deal going down there.
Wow.
Went there, yeah, do some betting.
Yeah.
They run about eight runs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've always said that's one thing that I'm not like one of those like race fanatics, but that's one thing that like one time in my life, if I could go to one of the races in the Triple Crown, I think that would be cool. Just to go and just experience that, So, but yeah, I watch them here and there, and I think I'm gonna stop when I'm down there. I just want to go over and just look at it. I mean, I'll be a couple minutes away from it.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Yep.
Elizabeth
Yeah,
wants
I
to
agree.
Elizabeth
Yeah,
wants to
see-
go see the Noah's Ark while we're there. But
Louisville's only a 90-minute drive for me, so it's not a big deal drive. Plus, I got family that lives down there,
Oh, okay.
cousins. So
Randy, are you
down
gonna
there
go
pretty
to the Ark?
often?
Say again.
Are you going to go to the Ark?
I don't think we're gonna have time.
No.
I think it's an hour and a half drive one way, so it's a 3-hour round trip, plus
Yeah.
however long it takes to see the thing. I don't think we're gonna have time.
It's
Yeah.
That's on I-75, right?
Yeah, it's off of I-275.
yeah, it's just
I live
south of
about
Cincinnati.
I live a crow's mile about 4 miles away from it in
Yeah.
Ohio. But
Yeah.
it probably takes me 20 minutes to drive to it.
Yeah, if it was just me and her, we probably would do it after the fact. But we've got my brother and Jennifer King riding with us, so we've got extras.
It's what I tell you. Sometime when you're up, that way, it's definitely worth going to see because my wife and I went down. I think it's been about 2 years ago when we went, and it's impressive. I mean, like when you park, you can't see it like right away. You know, when you park and then you get on a shuttle and they bus you back to it, and when you first see that thing, it's just like, I mean, you can't even like imagine the size of it. It's enormous. And the tour, you know, through it, I mean, I would give hours just because there's a lot of information. I mean, things that you wouldn't even think about, you know, but it's whoever set that up. I mean, they did an exceptional job. They did. Yeah. Ricky, have you been there?
No, I haven't been there. That's something we wanted to do, but I'm like Randy. We're just going to be so tied up. We're just not going to get a chance to go. So
yeah.
Hey, Randy, is your brother going to be helping at your booth?
Yeah, he'll be around. He's free to do whatever he wants to, but he says he's going to help. But I know he's going to want to see some of the speakers.
Right.
So I don't care. Rome, do what you want to do. He hadn't seen the conference since that first one. He came to the first one. It was 200 people, 220 people, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So he hadn't seen the big one. He hadn't seen the big show.
Yeah.
the Cayman Reynolds Big Show. That's why they ought to change the name. Nobby's too hard to remember. I keep calling it Hive Life. I've called it Hive Life 100 times trying to. No, we're not going to Hive Life. We're going to the Expo. North American Honeybee Expo. That's too long.
Hey, who's going to the Ark? Who's going to the Ark?
We're not going to get to. I don't think Randy's going to get to either. What about you, Joe? Are you going to try to go out and go?
Somebody in the comments.
I've already been
Mama
to it twice.
Mama T's was going. Elizabeth wants to go, but I don't think we're going to have time. If it turns out we have time, we're going to go.
Yeah.
If you go to the Ark, I recommend trying to prepare all day.
Yeah.
Really?
If you're driving through, when you're driving through 75, 71, you hit 275, you're probably about 15 minutes away from it. You're just east of it.
Yeah, it's worth it.
We almost stopped there one time, and we did stop, and we thought it was maybe like a couple hours, like a 2-hour tour, and they told us the same thing. They were like, if you only got like 2 hours and you got to be back on the road, come back another time. Like, at least they were honest with us.
What it's all about, you need to prepare all day.
Yeah. We'd all love to go see it, but
Darren's commenting on here talking about getting his logo done on Fiverr. Fiverr is a good resource if you need something created or website built or anything like that, and you can't do it or don't have time to try to figure it out. You get it done pretty cheap on there. I've had a few things done on Fiverr.
I never heard of that.
Not neither.
Yeah, I have my logo on my YouTube channel was built by somebody on Fiverr. Had a website built, and it's compared to the time it would take me to figure it out, it's cheap.
Yeah.
I've helped a few people out with things on Fiverr before, and just make sure you negotiate into it. Make sure they know what you expect, like unlimited revisions or whatever it is that could be on the back end. Because I've only seen it, I think twice out of quite a few times over the past 5 or 10 years where somebody would do something and they'd say, well, we've done, you said you didn't like this part and we changed it, so we're done. And, so you can get a lot of good stuff done on there, but talk to them first. That would be my recommendation. Let them know what you expected.
That thing that you just put up, Lee, put it back up. That was the back of a T-shirt that I just took a picture of. Yeah, that's just the back of a T-shirt that I had laid, and I just had to have a picture to put somewhere. So I just took a picture of a T-shirt that I had. I liked it. It was black with that blue ink, and I like the colors. But the banner on my YouTube channel, the one with all the beekeepers working, is what was built on Fiverr.
Lee has another picture of something I'd like to see too. He ain't
Lee,
gonna
what you
show
got
it.
back here, brother?
How much money you got there, Brian?
Look at this. Look at this.
You got to have the money for that.
Mm.
I feel like
He's over
Lee's
there-
looking at my
he's over
social
there
security number.
launching SpaceX.
Yeah, I feel like he's looking at my financials or something. Like
Yeah.
my social security number.
In the background.
You got any pictures of that fishing trip on there, Lee?
He's like
I bet he does.
redirecting satellites and looking in on people.
Yeah.
Hey, Eli. Come here. Oh, the pup is here.
Well, y'all, I got to jump off of here. I got kids in from Texas. That was my daughter that came in earlier. They're in from Texas, and the grandbabies are here, and so I got to go spend some time before they go to bed.
Well, Randy, we appreciate you coming on, and special shout out to your wife. I tell you, if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't make it a lot of days. And they do a lot of work, and we know Miss Elizabeth does a lot of work, on your logos and stuff. And just want to say we appreciate her just as much as anybody else. So
She does. I gotta say, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have the apparel line. We wouldn't have any of that stuff. It would just be purely a YouTube channel for my enjoyment or whatever happened with it. That's all it would be. I don't know. Without her, it wouldn't be nothing else.
We'd be here for another hour if I was to get into how much I appreciate you, because I wouldn't be on this live probably if it wasn't for you.
Look at that picture. Terry's hiding in the back. That's a good picture right there.
That's good fun right there.
Man, that was a great day.
Yes, it was.
We all went out in the Gulf and went fishing for the smallest fish we could find, but it was still fun.
It was fun.
because Yappy brought that little bitty pole.
Yeah, Yappy. The captain was not ready to leave him out there.
I think Yappy knew ahead of time what kind of fish we were going to find. Man,
Randy, see you in a few days.
Yeah,
Next
man. Y'all
week.
be careful. Y'all be careful driving, and I'll see y'all soon.
Yes.
I appreciate you, Randy.
Randy, you take care, buddy.
Y'all have a good.
See you later.
Hey, Tom, what are they calling for weather-wise out there? You're right. You're an hour and a half away from it.
I just checked it today. It's supposed to be cloudy on Wednesday, sunny on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Highs in the
No real bad
mid-40s.
weather on Tuesday or Wednesday for traveling, right?
Tuesday's good. Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday's all good.
Okay, cool.
Mostly in the cloudy to sunny in 40s.
All right. Well, as long as we don't have no
42,
snow or
45,
ice.
46. So
Yeah.
yeah, good traveling weather too, and after.
All right, as
At
long as
least
there's no
in
snow or
the
ice.
mid
That's
part of the country.
right. We're getting over a bunch of rain here.
Yeah, we're supposed to get snow tomorrow, a little bit.
Yeah, they were saying something like that, but I think it's more out in the western Maryland.
We got.
Hey, Ricky, what time is it?
What's that, Joey?
What time is dinner?
I think we were shooting for 7 o'clock, Joey. Get that little free dinner that you won, sir. Anybody
Man, I
wants
look forward
come
to
out?
seeing you there.
Yeah,
Joseph.
anybody wants to come out and eat with us at the Mexican restaurant at 7 o'clock? Come on out. I'll put my email down here if you want to get some more information about it. Just come on in. I think right now we got at least 30 people going to be there, if not more.
Wow.
So,
Man.
yeah, I'll probably tell them, hey, there's a bunch of crazy beekeepers come. If you want to keep us all in one little spot, that might be a good idea.
Ricky, I wish I was going to be down there. Then I would definitely go. I've got to work on Wednesday, so I'm probably not going to be out of my place up here until 4 o'clock or so.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
probably
we might be on the last day this time.
Yeah. Right, and driving overnight. Yeah. No, I'm going to probably get down there about 10 o'clock. I'm thinking Wednesday. Okay. So, and I mean, I'll be rested this year, so I'll have more than an hour of sleep. I know that.
You did look pretty shot out when you walked in.
Yeah.
I was hit last year.
I felt bad for you. I could tell you'd been through it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't want to miss it. I mean, my son had his wedding on Friday, and I think I left. Gosh, I think I left Ohio at like 11 o'clock at night, Friday night last year. Drove down, and I remember I pulled into one of my buddies was staying at a hotel down the road. So I pulled in there and I slept for like 45 minutes, woke up and drove over. And yeah, I was hit. I was
Man,
hit.
you were funny. You were in good spirits, but them eyes were red. I could tell you didn't get much sleep.
Yeah. No, this year will be good. I mean, because I'll be rested and this year too, I think it'll be the first year that I'll be there all 3 days. So yeah, it'll be nice. So looking forward to it. So
oh, look, there's Jose on.
Is the pup going to Nabby with me? No. That pup, that pup would be barking like mad.
I wish I would have brought it with me. I just got my first pullover from Jose.
Oh, really?
He's got smoke him if you got him. He's got some cool designs.
Yeah, he does have some cool stuff.
His one that he had. When I saw that thing, I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, I lost it. Oh man, he's got some good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to seeing Jose this year. I've met him in passing, but I've never really gotten to spend any time with him. So, Jose, if you got a chance, come by and see us.
Absolutely.
I haven't met him yet. That's one on my list.
Seems like a really cool guy. I've seen a good bit of videos, and
I was, that's one of the days that I'll remember for a little while is when I was working out in California. I think I was like an hour and a half from him, and my work didn't care. Like when we finished up, they didn't care when we flew home. Now it couldn't be like a week later. They weren't going to pay for us to stay in California for an extra week, but they didn't care that I stayed an extra day. So I had arranged it and drove up to his place, and we went through, one of his yards, and he actually, had me sitting down, and I was picking some queens. I was nervous as all get out. I'd never done that before. So, and he's like, well, you're going to sit down and do these next few. And I'm just like, what? It was fun though. And just sitting in, if Jose would bring the food truck where the two of us had lunch, if he had that food truck parked outside of the expo, he wouldn't have to work all year. That food was
I got hungry watching that video.
Oh man. Yeah.
He didn't have you eating cow tongue, did he, Brian?
It was quesadilla. I don't know what kind of meat it was, but I mean it was good. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Ruth says I'm kind of barbecue and beef, so.
If she ever makes some good authentic food, I'd eat it. I don't care what kind of meat it is.
Brian said if you'd make some good food, he'd eat it.
She's going to get started.
She's winding up back here. I tell you, it's just a going right now, guys.
I can hear her. Uh-huh. Yeah. Awesome.
Goodness gracious. Y'all start joking with a woman about cooking. It might be time for me to get out of here.
And if our guardian is leaving, I mean, I might have to jump out too.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to follow Rooster out, man. I enjoyed it so much. Ricky, thanks for the invite.
Absolutely, Terry. I appreciate you coming on, brother. I'm looking forward to being with you.
Man, I can't wait. Can't wait to see all you guys. See y'all later.
Yeah. See you, Terry.
Terry, you take care, buddy.
See you, Terry.
Take care, Terry.
I'm still waiting to see the picture that Lee got.
Oh man. I don't think Lee's going to show it to you. I think he's going to just make you suffer, buddy.
He probably won't. And you know what he'll do? He'll probably send me a text message with like his hand covering up like 90% of the image.
Yeah. That, yeah. That's
like
legal.
that.
Uh-huh. That's what he's going to do. Yeah. Oh, well. Now, if I don't see it until the expo, that's fine. I'm excited. I'm excited. Ricky, I told my mom about the one, you know, so that way, and I'm going to get the red lights. That way you really don't disturb them. And when you go in there, if it's all dark, I'm probably going to I'll probably put them hanging right by the door when you walk in. That way you can just grab those red lights real easy and go over and look at the bees. But yeah, that's going to be awesome. I'm going to stare at them darn things every single time I go over to my mother's now.
Well, I tell you what, that observation hive, the bigger observation hive, we made it so tight, and I wanted to paint it and do some stuff to it. And we made that one so tight that I've had to take it out twice and cut the paint off of it and remount it and repaint it so that you can actually open and close the door. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, I can't wait. No, I just got a text message. Watch it be. It's late.
There you go. You asked for it, Brian.
Oh, I know. Oh, man.
Hey, guys, I'm going to bump off of here.
All right, Tom.
All right, Tom.
I've been working hard on expanding my honey room, and I'm sore and tired.
Yeah, I watched
did a little post on it, YouTube post earlier today. It's getting there.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, a couple more days, and I'll get to paint it.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right, good night, everyone.
Good night, Tom.
Tom. Take care, buddy.
See you next
See you
week.
later.
See you tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night, maybe.
So
awesomeness. Well, gentlemen, I think I'm going to do the same.
Well, it might be good all to turn in tonight, and I'll have a lot of work to get done. So we'll just go ahead and close out. Hey, everybody on tonight, we do appreciate you sticking with us this long and being with us and or being with Randy, the special guest, Terry, and everybody else that joined on afterwards. We appreciate everybody that's on here tonight. And just remember, we're all connected. It's a small community. And if you're at the Bee Conference, come up and talk to us all. We all enjoy to talk if you can't tell because we're all on here tonight. But just come and be with us, and we'll see you there.
All right. We'll see y'all.
Take care, all.